Hey everyone, how are all you sewers out there doing? Um, I was going to be saying Happy Friday Sews, but I missed the Friday deadline of last Friday, and I think I'm going to be too early for this one because I think I'm going to submit this one today. I'm going to hit publish today, which is Wednesday. But I'm learning this process of the YouTube channels for for all of us sewers. So I'm just trying to get one out whenever. Okay, so let's see. What was I going to get to here? Oh, okay. So I want to tell everybody I'm a major garment sewer, and I get a lot of my inspiration from Pinterest. I used to get my inspiration from magazines, but that went by the wayside somewhere. I remember being in the car and traveling somewhere, and my husband's driving, and I'm in a magazine, and he just hears rip or rip. I don't do that anymore. I don't get any magazines at all. Um, I get some online, but that's about it. But I'm not ripping anything out. I get mine from Pinterest, and it's been working well. I get an inspiration. I see something in Pinterest that I like, and I do a copy, and then I print it. I paste it into a Word document, and I've got a Word document saved of all of the clothing that I want to make. So that's where it's saved, and when I'm ready to go, when I'm ready to make it something different, I go into that Word document and go, oh, that's right, I want to make that. Oh, yeah, I want to make that. And off I go. I mean, I've got so much inspiration. So that's really great. Okay, so my first garment is one that I got the inspiration from Pinterest. See my inspiration up there. I was trying to get two different fabrics out of my stash that worked well in this, and I I did pretty good on it. I'm um, finding the right fabric. The fabric I chose on the top, the pure black print, pure black solid color, was really hard to work with. Sometimes you can get a fabric that's got like a sheen on it, and I didn't know it had that sheen on it because it didn't look that way, but it was hard for the needle to puncture it. It took much longer to make it because every stitch is like I had to beg it to get through. Come on, go stitch. So it would stitch a few, stop, stitch a few, stop. So I have to go back and forth until I got it all in there. Thank goodness it was just stitching from these two lines here just to get that funnel neckline in. So what I did for this pattern, I got two different patterns. So my first one, I did two patterns to produce one garment, and this is what I do a lot. I just um, whatever I want to work with, I go to whatever I find some inspiration in my my Word document. I then go to my patterns and find any patterns I can work together, manipulate whatever to come up with the garment. As you can see behind me, I was working on that one. It's taped to the window. That's what I'm working on right now. So what comes from that one comes from that's my inspiration from Pinterest, and that is the pattern that I'm manipulating to work with it. Just to give you an example, that's what I do. So in this case, two different patterns. So I got the funnel neckline from this guy. The funnel neckline came from here, and then the rest of it came from this guy. What I found I needed to create the look and have it to make the fabric, to make it so that there's that line right here, I had to cap off just a cap of the sleeve. That was the one fabric, and then in line with the funnel neckline. So it's just right here. So this guy here was the funnel neckline, and it came down to about here. I had started out with this pattern originally, but the sleeve was way down to here, and that didn't work. And I did not want to revise that whole thing. So I said, okay, I'll take the design of the funnel neckline from here, and then basically draw it into this guy. And so the rest of it came from this guy, the rest of the body of it. And all I had to do was to cut off right here to equal, am I in there? Cut off right there, and that equalized where I cut off on the sleeve. Really quite simple when you figure it out. It wasn't difficult at all once I got it figured out. Off and on for a couple of days, I'd come back to this thing and go, okay, what's wrong? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And then I went, oh, this is simple. That's why I chose it, because it's just a straight across. It turned out to be simple in the end. So that took care of that one. All done. Made it. I've already worn it. It's comfortable to wear. I would make this again with very much more comfortable of a garment, not a garment, fabric on the top. A much more, not the stiff fabric, something very much looser and penetrable. You can penetrate it with a needle. So that's what I'm doing. So my next garment here is just a night. It's just a nighty thing. I had the fabric. I had the pattern already. Not the pattern, but the nightgown, the night top. It's just a night shirt. I had that already. I knew what I wanted, and so all I did was cut it into pieces. I cut it up because I didn't want it anymore, but I wanted more of them because it was such a comfortable thing. So that is just the piece that I cut out. You can see the sleeve right here. That's where the sleeve came to be. Okay, so you see that, and it just goes down there, and that's the sleeve, and then the neckline of it is right here. So that's the neck of it. I just laid it down on the fabric, cut it out. So the only thing that I can say is got to be a little bit different. Not different, but it got to be a little bit, excuse me, I'm going to shove this back a little bit here. The only thing that got to be difficult to do is this guy here, the neckline. It was just a little fussier to work with because you got to get the neckline correctly. When you work with when you're doing this, you cut this on the bias because this is the same fabric. So I cut that on the bias, just like I think it was a 2 inches, a little over 2 inches of a fabric that you just have that strip on the bias. I'll say 2 1/4 inch, and then you fold it in half, and you have to have about 75–80% of the width of the neckline, approximately. And so what I do is I have it at about maybe 80%, and just you take that strip, you fold it, and then you connect it. You've got a straight strip, you folded it, and at the ends you bring them together and stitch them. And I could show you on the machine, but it's a little bit difficult right now. Another time I'll show you on the machine. But right now it's that strip, you fold, bring it together. Sorry, you have that strip. So you got that strip, okay, that strip, you bring the ends together, sew it, then you can fold it, then you attach it to here. You attach it to, then once you got that thing, once you got a circle of a neckline, you got that circle of that 2.5-inch bias strip, you got that circle because it's sewed together now. Then you put pins on both sides. You'd make 1/2 and 1/2, and then you pin it onto here in the 1/2 portions. You can either pin it in or you can do base stitching. I did base stitching, and then I'm able to figure out how much more or less I want of that bias strip. And you can't do more, but you can do less. Can't do more. Yeah, you can't do more. It's hard to do more without stitching in and adding more. But you can do less just by cutting it down. But I had a little bit of a time with that just to get this, because you got to stretch it in there. So when you're sewing it, you got to stretch in really nicely so that it's just brought in nicely. And I finally got it so that it's looking good. Then the last part of this is I wanted to do something in the front to make it not so one color and just that's it. I tried doing it on my machine with any of the fancy stitches, but it didn't work. It didn't turn out to be a good job. So I just did this and left it. Down the road, my sewing group that I have online, I have a group of women from all across the country. We get together on Mondays and Tuesdays in the morning. I'll have the link. I'll have the what you can put into your browser, and you can look up that group. I've been a part of them for so long. Anyway, they gave me the idea of what to do and what not to do with that, with the putting something onto the garment, sewing or whatever. I think I'm just gonna. I'm a bit of a fabric dyer, so I think I'm just gonna paint something on. Just do that. Be done. Okay, coming up with another one. So you see my last one, my last dress that I'm going to show you. I'm bringing it here. You can see it, or maybe not. I don't know if I've got a picture or not. But anyway, with this, I don't think they had it in the instructions, so I'm going to just tell you. I wore this one time without stitching into place at the very bottom. You can't see it on the screen, but there's some stitching right on the bottom. I didn't have that, and so this really drooped down. So after a couple of times of wearing it, I went, I don't like that. Well, what I did is I stitched just right on the line, and it gave it some strength. It was an easy thing to do. I just don't think they had it in there to do that. If they did, I didn't see it. I just knew I had to do something to give it some strength so it wouldn't drape down, just droop down. So I think that's it for right now. I am working on something else, but I'll show you that come actual Friday. I'll show you that later. So for right now, that's it. Please, if you're watching, thank you. If you got comments, anything, yes, no, blah, or yay, let me know, because that will really help me out so I can keep on going. I want to do this to inspire people to sew. I want you to enjoy this. I want you to have fun watching this. So I'm going to try and make this even more enjoyable as I go along, so that you're going to have a laugh and giggle along the way. So that's what I want. So I'll keep improving my channel, but it'll help if you can comment and say anything that you like or don't like. Okay, that's all. In case I didn't tell you, I think I didn't tell you. This is Doreen from More Creative Clothing. If you stay till the end, you found that out. Next time I'll do that in the very beginning. Okay, bye guys. Happy sewing.